So we're here with Colorado's best attorney, Phil Harding, in this sponsored segment. He's known as Colorado's best attorney because he's been honored as one of the top 100 trial lawyers in Colorado for the past 14 years. He's a super lawyer, 10 years in a row, and I've heard that before, which is outstanding. And he is a member of the million and multi-million dollar advocates forum, which means he has tried cases that have resulted in verdicts of more than $1 million, and the list goes on. So, Phil, what are we talking about today? I looked ahead.
Yeah.
So this is something I actually need to learn more about. Underinsured and underinsured, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's called UM UIM, stands for uninsured, underinsured. And this, people talk to me all the time, want inside tips.
What is it, right?
They say, well, what's the most important insurance coverage that you have? It's UM UIM, uninsured, underinsured. And it covers you so many different ways. First of all, you need to know 1 out of 6 people driving on the road today has no insurance at all.
That's really scary to me.
Yeah.
Because then who pays?
Exactly. No. And then after that, state minimums are $25,000. And if you go to the hospital after an accident, you know your medical bills are at least $20,000.
Yes.
Now you're using health insurance, Medicaid, or Medicaid to pay for that. But you're uninsured, underinsured. Let me tell you how powerful it is. If you are riding a skateboard or on a bike, I know you're a cyclist,
Yes.
right? You're cycling and a car hits you, your uninsured, underinsured extends to you.
So it covers you?
Yes.
Okay.
This is the key. If you are injured by a car, you're in someone else's car, right? Their insurance may cover you, but your uninsured, underinsured from your car that you're not even in follows you wherever you are. Super important.
No, that's really, really interesting. So it has different parts to it, right? It's different coverages?
It does. And here's the most important thing. Let's go over kind of a real life scenario that I had. I had this one case where an individual had $260,000 in medical bills. The billed amount, not the paid amount. The person that ran into her only had $100,000. So then I said, I'm going to ask you some really weird questions like, who do you live with? Have you been married before? All of that. And by doing that, I was able to stack insurance. I got into this and I found out that she had another $25,000 of uninsured, underinsured. She had an 18-year-old son that lived with her, right? And her ex-husband had insurance on the son. The son lived with her, and because they're a resident relative, I was able to get that uninsured, underinsured. So let's talk about stacking insurance. It's so important, and it's things that you never know about. So first of all, when someone runs into you, you look to, usually the owner and the driver are the same people. But if they're different, the owner of the car that ran into you, that insurance comes first, then the driver of the car. And I know they're not in their car, but they're in someone else's car. Those are 2 levels that you can stack. Next, you look to uninsured, underinsured. You look to your car, and if you have multiple cars and you've paid for, let's say, 2 different uninsured, underinsureds, that's 2 policies you get to stack. Now, if someone, remember I was talking about her son lived with her, that's known as a resident relative. That insurance can be stacked on top. And then, here's another thing. Maybe you drive a company car, or maybe your company supplies you a car. You can get the uninsured, underinsured on that sometimes. It's really crazy on the stacking to make sure that you're fully compensated.
I had no idea you could even do that.
Yep.
So this is always a question I've had. If this happens, does your rate goes up? Does it go up? Does the insurance raise your...
It does not. And if someone wants me to send them this, there's an insurance regulation that specifically says if you use your uninsured, underinsured, or your MedPay, your insurance company can't dock you, can't put a frowny face next to your name. The last thing I want to talk about is this really strong case that came out, Court of Appeals. It's called the Fisher case.
Okay.
And so let's say someone runs into you, right? They have no insurance at all. You then, the other side, or your insurance, has to pay undisputed medical bills. And let's look at this. It's called an EOB. So this is a real EOB from a real client. And you see this? So the billed amount is $29,000. Now, there's a discount, right? Medicaid, Medicare comes in and says, I'm sorry, hospital, we get this discount and the amount covered by the plan is $8,500. Under the Fisher case, it says, with your uninsured, underinsured, you send this bill to your uninsured, underinsured, and these are undisputed medical bills, they need to immediately pay that to you. I mean, if you only have $25,000 of coverage, they'll send it to you. But if you have $100,000, they send that to you. You get more treatment, they send you more money. Now, you may have to pay back the $8,500 because, your health insurance might say, you have to pay us back. But remember, you don't have to pay back the billed amount, only the paid amount. This Fisher case is so strong and so powerful that your own uninsured, underinsured has to treat you with respect, has to pay undisputed medical bills, and not argue with you.
There's a lot to this.
There is.
And I don't think you can do it on your own. That's why we call Phil. Give him a call. To reach Harding & Associates directly, call 303-762-9500. You can get a free consultation anytime, and you can find Phil online at hlaw.com. And Phil, thanks again for sponsoring this segment.